less than a few weeks, you will make a decision based on what you think about the candidates, and you will decide who to vote for. Well, today we're going to talk about Kamala and some of the policies that she has and what has happened under their tutelage. Now, she can kind of say all she wants, but ultimately her and Biden have had some record-breaking years, just not in the records that they want to break and not the ones that you're happy with. We'll talk about some of that today. Also, a huge announcement from RFK that should lead you to the fact that Trump is building a phenomenal unity team that makes him look even better. And also, new polling comes out stating that it may be a landslide for Trump. We're also going to discuss Iran. Again, all they want to do is threaten us. Don't you get tired of their threats? I mean, to a point where, I don't want to go to war by no means, but it's like I just get tired of the threats. I don't know what to do about it, but I do believe that we just need to heed the warning always, because we've let too many people across the border. And to be honest with you, we're going to talk about an Afghan that we let across the border that threatened our election, and now we find out who he's tied to. It'll blow your mind. So we're going to talk about all these stories and a few more. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's okay, but let us know what you think about the content of today's video. Again, guys, your thumbs up and your comments mean the world to us, and it helps us spread our message across this platform. Now, let's talk about some of these stories. Kamala was called on a hot mic, asking if this was a live broadcast. She was being fed some of the questions from her staff, I guess, or people that were kind of giving her information on the hurricane. It just shows inept she is. She is so inept. I mean, she's on camera and she tries to cover her mouth, and it's just a hot mic moment. Now, do people have hot mic moments? Yes, but what we found with Kamala is that, have you seen her interviews from the podcast she did with the lady, the Sleazy podcast, to Howard Stern, to even down to 60 Minutes and Colbert? What we found out is that she likes to drink beer. She also loves Doritos. Now, what actually does that have to do with America? I know they're trying to be likable, but to me she's coming across even more unlikable. And not only that, it comes across as just fake. Right now we have Iran, literally, Iran leader threatening America today. We also have the fact of someone threatening to bomb our elections, which has ties to one of our government agencies. But what I'm saying is, when we're in times of bad and we're struggling as Americans, I don't want to elect someone based on the fact that they like Doritos and beer. It just makes no sense to me. And this is what they're trying to make her more personable. They're trying to trump her, basically. Trump is great at marketing and great at just kind of bouncing ideas off these podcasters. But Kamala stinks at it, and the hot mic and also all these interviews basically showed that. Now, what has come out is saying that some of the people that stated that Biden was getting out, some of the people in the polling that had Trump losing even in 2020, and again, no matter what you believe on that, the same polling has Trump up by drastic levels coming into this election. One of the people that I like to get comments on is Survivovich, and he made a comment. He said, even in my polling, when everybody says Trump was going to win 2020, I actually had him down. And even though he's not a definite conservative, but he says, I lean towards Trump, especially because Kamala's in the race. He's the best choice. He said, in my surveys and in my polling and in my internal polling with these states, he said, I have Trump winning in a landslide. Now, legacy media may not want you to hear that, but that's positive news. Now, the question then comes down to is we can make sure that we can keep fraud out of it and keep integrity strong. There should be no reason he does not win, especially when she goes on podcasts and instead of talking about issues and talking about her policies, she talks about Doritos and beer. Two more facts of what we've seen under Biden and Harris administration. A staggering 672,000 new EBT cards have been added to the welfare rolls just over the last year of their administration. That's a 35% increase, and it shows people are having to rely on government. That's exactly what they want, to be honest with you. But that's not freedom, when we rely on the government to feed us and take care of us. Do we really believe this is a good thing? Also, record numbers of homelessness under the Biden and Harris administration. says the homeless population in America is at a record high, and it looks to be around 653,000 Americans were homeless this last year. That's the most they've ever had in history since they started tallying the numbers. Is this the 4 years we want? A leader who talks about Doritos and beer and pretty much gets everybody money to live off the government. Now, remember, we're talking about how FEMA has no money and how, they can't give money to the storm victims. But listen to this. In New York, they've just passed a bill, and these Democrats just passed a bill to where they're looking for 2025. They need New York, they're needing 14,000 more hotel rooms in 2025 to shelter migrants. This will cost $2.3 billion. So we don't have enough money to take care of people in America. And I have firsthand knowledge. There's this guy I know in North Carolina. His words were, look, my house is not covered under flood insurance. And it just destroyed his barn, destroyed parts of his road, parts of his farm. And he said, my house is okay. He said, but I don't have coverage. They won't cover this because it wasn't based on anything other than flooding, and my insurance didn't cover it. Well, that's the kind of stuff that the government is supposed to step in and help. I mean, FEMA can do a lot of things, and they have a lot of money, and instead of giving it to migrants and giving it to people who are not even here legally, they're here illegally, that's the kind of stuff that FEMA should be doing, is helping folks like this out. When their whole home was destroyed, when their whole livelihood was destroyed, and insurance says they're not going to cover it because it's flood and not damage from a tornado or something like that. That's a terrible situation. Well, that's where government should step in. But no, instead, we're sending $2.3 billion to New York to house more migrants. 14,000 more hotel rooms are needed to house migrants. Is this what we really want for the next 4 years? And lastly, I want to mention something that RFK did I thought was huge. He did a website for Team Trump, and what it was policies of the people, meaning people to sign up and tell what they want, kind of accomplished this next 4 years if Trump wins, which we hope he does. It says, without being elected yet, the administration already is giving back to Americans by giving them a voice. He said, I want to make sure that they can see top priorities and single issue votes, and that way Trump and Team Trump can work together to help the American people. When has any other politician done this? To where they opened a spot where people could come in and talk about term limits, talk about single bill voting, meaning there's not 100 million things inside this one little bill to pass and tons of work projects. It's single tasks, meaning this is what we're voting on, this is what's in there. It's nothing hidden in there. So more people are voicing their opinions, and this is what we want. We want a leader who listens to its people. Again, Trump has been on more podcasts, and J.D. Vance has been on more podcasts, and RFK and Tulsi and all the rest of them. That means they're trying to get on the level of Main Street Americans to say, you know what, we want to help you. Again, all these people don't have to do this. Remember, most of these people are mega billionaires and millionaires who made it outside the political fiasco and political circus. They all made their money not in politics. Elon Musk, Trump, even RFK, it's a family lineage, but what I'm saying is he made money as a lawyer. He made money doing other things. Vivek made money doing other things. J.D. Vance made money doing other things. And if these people are willing to give up all the money that they have made and ultimately sacrifice to get, dogged out and get run around by the media to then turn around and serve the American people, why would we not want them leading us? Again, we go back to Biden, Harris, and mostly all the Democrats and all the ones on that other side. Everyone that's standing up for Kamala Harris, even some of the quote-unquote Republicans, most of them made their money in politics. Harris made her money in politics. They've always been elected officials. Tim Walz made his money in politics. I think we need to look outside politics and look that the government is not the answer for everything. And so therefore, when you have private people who are willing to stand up and represent us, like RFK is trying to do with this website for Trump, I think it's a game changer. I think that's why Trump will win, because he's willing to talk about the issues, not some Doritos and beer. Again, Iran comes out and says they're at direct war with us and they want to threaten us. We have the fact of multiple situations happening across the world. I mean, there's a solar flare happening today, geomagnetic solar flare, which is kind of weird. Hurricanes going all over. Wouldn't you think we'd want a leader who is willing to face these things instead of talk about some Doritos? This election means way more than just Trump or Harris. It means the fact of freedom and representing the people, or more government control to where you're either homeless, depending on the government, or you need more EBT cards depending on the government, or migrants are coming in and they're taking all the tax bases to pretty much take care of them. You know what, another story came out in Germany? 50%, and this was on Zero Hedge, it says 50% of all people in prison and jail in Germany right now is illegal immigrants and migrants that came over that they gave status to. So are we wanting that here in America, where we house, I mean, it's costing them billions. They said upwards of $2 to $3 billion. So we're housing them in New York for $2 to $3 billion. Germany is housing them in prisons because they're breaking the law. Well, they broke the law when they actually came in our country. Is this the future that we want for America? Or are we wanting someone to represent us? You need to ask yourself that. Anybody who says they're willing to not vote for Trump based on the fact they don't like him and vote for Kamala, which is for more control, blows my mind. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this video. I appreciate you so much for sharing our content. I hope that you will, I hope that you'll keep on watching, keep on giving us a thumbs up, and of course, have a wonderful day. God bless.